Hello again and welcome to MMOFTW, your weekly dose of all the news that's fit to consume in the MMO world. I'm your host, Bill Murphy, and this week, topics range all over from layoffs to launches, so let's get this thing going already, shall we? This is MMOFTW. First up, hot on the heels of other sandbox indie MMO Mortal Online, Xsyon announced this week that players can download and try out Prelude without spending a dime. All new and returning players are welcome, so if you're one of the many itching for a little sandboxy action, head over to Xsyon.com, that's Xsyon.com, to get started. And then moving right along, it's hardly news, but the developers at BioWare would like to tell fans of the Old Republic that, well, they're listening. One of the biggest issues players took with the new free-to-play option was the hotbars and other UI limits seemed a little ridiculous. Basically, you could only have a couple hotbars, maybe even one before they actually capitulated there. Well, BioWare is listening because the hotbar limitations have been lessened, along with a slew of other changes to the model's restrictions. Good on them for owning up to the mistake and rectifying it so swiftly. Personally, I'm just happy to see the worlds and servers filling up again. Here's hoping the game can thrive in the free-to-play market. And in some sad and probably unprecedented news, Petroglyph Games announced this week that 30 of its staff have been laid off and that they're no longer making End of Nations. Good news or bad, the entire development of that MMO meets RTS is being taken over by Trion Worlds, who brought the development of the game in-house from Petroglyph with the belief that they can make it meet the lofty goals they have for the MMORTS and its very ambitious premise. The open beta is still on hold and there's no timeline. Trion put out a statement saying, as End of Nations was reaching the pre-launch phase in its life cycle, we officially brought the game development in-house to Trion's San Diego studio and will complete the development internally. Our team has been hard at work implementing many changes based on your feedback from the beta events. Keep checking back for more updates as we are looking forward to showing off some of the cool new things the team has been working on. It's hard luck for those at Petroglyph, but I think fans of End of Nations will just be happy when the game finally makes it to launch. And moving into some spacey news, EVE Online launched its latest expansion this past week, called simply Retribution. The new content focuses on a host of additions such as bounty hunting, crime watch, AI overhauls, tactical combat features, and tons of new ships and destroyers to boot. It's a testament to CCP's devotion to the space game, and if you've been out of low-sec for a while, maybe it's time to give EVE another look. The free trial is always running, and of course, it doesn't cost a dime to download the game. And last on our news docket for this week, among the many stories we had to choose from, we'd like to give a little shout out to Hammerpoint Interactive and the WarZ for breaking the alpha barrier and pushing their game into the ever-elusive beta phase. A lot has changed in the WarZ since we first got our hands on it, and despite some road bumps along the way, the zombie apocalypse / MMO is coming along quite nicely. You can pre-purchase the game now and get instant access to the beta, so if hardcore PvP, looting people's bodies, and teaming up with folks who could very well kill you is how you get your jollies, head on over to thewarz.com. And now, we come to everybody's favorite segment, the Community Spotlight. This week, our forum user MMODad is asking players, what's the meanest thing you've ever done in an MMO? I'm not trying to be a goody two-shoes, but I honestly can't think of much mean stuff I've ever done in the real world, much less a game. But if I had to think of something, I suppose that the meanest thing I've ever done was corpse camp a guy in World of Warcraft back when the game launched in 2004, and I thought that was a fun way to PvP. I know, I'm awful, right? Anyway, I'd love to hear what some of the meanest things that you guys have done. I mean, look at the video that's playing while I'm talking. That was a horde guild breaking up a funeral for a little girl that died in real life. You could say it's part of the game, but it's also pretty epic griefing, I think. But funny at the same time. Am I bad for saying that? Anyway, let us know in the comments what the meanest thing you've ever done in an MMO is. And that'll about do it for this week's episode of MMOFTW. Do not forget to follow us on all of the channels, that's Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, at MMORPGcom without the dot. And if you want to follow me for whatever ridiculous reason you have, you can follow me on Twitter at TheBillMurphy. And lastly, before we wrap things up, I want to wish everybody at Paragon Studios and City of Heroes and NCSoft, who was affected by the layoffs that happened this week, a fond farewell, because City of Heroes closed its doors back on November 30th. And, well, I think we all remember why that game was called The Widowmaker in its heyday, and it's sad to see it go. So good luck to everybody involved there. And also, fairly soon, we will have a live stream interview with Matt, formerly Positron Miller, to talk about the game, its history, and, well, all the good times everybody had with City of Heroes. So thanks for watching, and remember, everybody, don't let a bad pug get you down.